Hi everybody, welcome to this course guide video for the Oasis version 2 on the BK Golf Clash YouTube channel here. Please remember to hit thumbs up and subscribe to the channel as well. Remember, this is the Oasis 2, so it's the different set of pin locations to the standard version. Now the point of these videos is to show the overviews on screen of all 9 holes. We do par 4s, par 5s and par 3s. And I look at the most popular routes available on each hole, give you some general elevations to start with. Of course, you will need to tweak these depending what shots you're playing. And I kind of talk you through clubs, balls you might want to use and general approaches if you are learning this course, regardless of the game mode you're playing. There hopefully will be some tips in this video to help you get familiar or refresh your memory of this course. Remember to check out all the other videos in this series on the channel. Links in the video description down below. Here we go. Now we've got a couple of options there for the general play here. We'll talk about the blue line later, but first, the preferred out of the two is the left-hand route for me. Both the left and right side need accurate drives, so the fairways are fairly narrow here and they do slope off to the left and right each time, so you need to be careful. I like accuracy with my drivers here, so the rock or the quarterback if you're playing on the left side on the black line, 0 elevation, and go to the tip of the arrow, and that is going to give you a wood club to the green. You will need a little bit of backspin there. I like the sniper for the second shot. If you have it, of course, that is your best one. So 0 on the drive, 20% elevation would be a general thing there for the approach on the black line, maybe up to 25-30 in crosswind and high wind strengths. Now, if you want to play right side, you've still got a chance at the eagle, but it is still tough. But you play 10% on the drive there, you've got a bit more distance to cover, and then 10% on the second shot. If you've got headwind, you may want to consider packing a long distance wood club. Very quickly, let's talk about the blue line. That is really a tournament only route. In expert and master, when you have tailwind, you can go with a berserker or a power 10 ball of any description really, and go full blast with top spin and left curl, roll out onto the second fairway. You will then hopefully have a long distance wedge or a kind of a min to mid distance short iron for the eagle. If you want to go aggressive, then I'd play that one 10% elevation. But to summarise, accuracy is key on the drive, so choose your clubs accordingly. There's only one real route to play on this par 4, and that is shown on the diagram with the black lines. Now first, in headwind from any tee, this hole is very difficult. If you can't make it over the rough, as shown, then lay up instead. And if you have the option of switching clubs, then I would then go with Cataclysm or the Big Dog to get to the green in 2. That is if you have headwind. Minor headwind, crosswind or any tailwind, you can go as suggested. Bounce where the red dot is with as much topspin as you can. I'd say up to a maximum of 6 bars. You don't want to go too long and into the rough. And then you will approach the end of that fairway. There are some glitch roll moments, but even if you catch the glitch roll, as long as you don't go mad on the topspin, you should be fine. Now, your approach shot, you've got 2 choices. You can bounce over and then roll out from the rough up onto the green, or you can play the rough bump. If you're playing tournaments, then the rough bump is the way to go. Sniper is going to be the club for you. That is always going to be a wood club shot. Even though your drive may be long, you're still going to be within wood club range. The pin stands very close to the front of the green here in this version of the Oasis, so you will need a little bit more backspin potentially than the original version of this course. So it's up to you. Tour play and checkpoint challenge, I'd say go for the bounce over. Take care of your second bounce so you don't go long or short and roll onto the green safely. But a tournament, you want to be playing the rough bump. On this par 4, you'll notice I'm only recommending the right side on this version. That's because the left-hand side on both versions of the Oasis is glitchy, but also where this pin location is, I think it's best to attack from the right-hand side. If you want to go aggressive, play the black line with a load of top spin. Thor's hammer is good, or high level APOC, extra mile 8 or 9 if you've got them. That's of course second and third tee, and try and get down the fairway, get you close to the green. However, you need a very accurate drive there. You will need spin and curl, and it is quite a narrow and sometimes glitchy fairway. General route then for all tees, I would play the white line, and that is laying up with an accurate driver if you've got it, the rock or the quarterback, and then you will most likely have a long iron to the pin. The Goliath is good for pro and expert players here. B52 if you're up on third tee. Of course, in Checkpoint Challenge, you get what you're given. But the best shot there for the Eagle is the rough bump. Make sure you've got enough speed on the ball. The pin is at the top left of the green, and it is uphill as well. 10% on the drive, 0% general elevation for the approach on this par 4 would be my recommendation. If you want to support the channel, you can join us on Patreon. 10% off membership offer. We have club charts there for all the clubs in the game. We have general elevation sheets and shootout sheets for each tour. When there is a tour rotation, we get those out very quickly. And also CPC sheets as well as early access to content here on the channel and some member exclusives. So head over there, patreon.com/BK Golf Clash. With this par 5, I like the white line for general tour play, checkpoint challenge and also tournaments. You've got a good chance of an albatross in all of those game modes, to be honest. 10% on the drive, you're going to play with some topspin, don't go too long, and bounce over and try and get to the top right corner of that second piece of fairway. From there, you are going to have a wood club approach to the green. Again, sniper is the best option there if you have it. The pin is closer to the front of the green on this version than the original, so you will need more backspin. 10% on the drive, 10% on the approach. Now the black line is more of a tournament only play here, as it's a little bit riskier for tour play and definitely very risky for checkpoint challenge. But if you want to go for an albatross rough bump, then you will play with right curl and right spin as well as top spin on your drive, get down on the main fairway, and then you're going to play on the rough there between the bunker and the green. The only difference I would change there for the elevation is play it 0 as a general approach for the rough bump, because of course you've got no less flight time of the ball in the air after you've caught the rough. It's not much distance to the pin at all, whereas you've got 10% on the white line, because you're playing with backspin, the ball is going to be affected by the wind more. Bear in mind, if you drop down into the bunker when you adjust the rough bump, then you will have to compensate for that in the setup of your shot. I like the rough bump really in crosswind. That is the best opportunity for the albatross. But as always, the choice is yours. Albatrosses are few and far between on this par 5, always have been and always will be. Headwind first. Let's talk about a boring wind scenario in any game mode from any tee. If you can't do the hop, skip and a jump on the left, then play on the right side because you've got less rough to deal with. Go with as much topspin as you can and try and swing the ball round to the left with the topspin, of course, and a bit of left curl if you want to help it along. 10% elevation. Now, if you're playing that route in headwind, your chances are you're going to have headwind on the second shot if you're in CPC or tournaments. So make sure you're packing the Big Dog or the Cataclysm or the Horizon for the approach. I would play that approach 10% elevation as well. Just get it to green. The chances of albatross are slim at best on this hole anyway, but very slim from the right-hand side. Crosswind, any tailwind, I'm going to play on the left. And you want to aim towards the end of the first piece of fairway. 6 bars of topspin is good if you have it. You might be able to get over there with 4.5 or 5, though, if you've only got extra mile 6 or 7. But you want to bounce on the first fairway, second bounce on the second fairway, and then it rolls out onto the third fairway, leaving you a wood club approach. I would play the drive 10%, 20% on the approach there, though that is affected more by the wind. Again, it's very difficult to get a direct line for the albatross, so you're just going to swing the ball round onto the green with a bit of topspin and hope to get a lucky roll in there. The pin, as you can see, top right corner of the green on this version of the Oasis. The last par 5 here is also very, very difficult to get an albatross on, I'm afraid. Let's have a look at the routes now. The black line first is your standard 2-shot to green route, and as long as you don't get a nasty wind angle, that's the one I would recommend you take. The Apocalypse is good, even in a low level for you pro players, because you're going to have some curl as well as some right spin and swing that ball round, bounce in the little area between the edges of the bunker there where the red dot is. Second bounce in the rough and then roll out onto the fairway. In headwind, it does need some overpower, really, regardless of the tee you're playing from. If you get massive amount of direct headwind, I would play white line, lay up, long distance wood club along the second fairway, the main fairway where that curved white arrow is. 10% on the drive in all wind angles and all routes. 0 on the second shot if you're playing in headwind, and then that is going to leave you a 5% short iron. Top left, you see that horizontal white arrow there. If you have to do this in 3 shots, then the thorn is going to be your friend. Now, going back to the black line, if you've got a good drive there, you are then going to play with a wood club with curl. In any headwind, you will need the Cataclysm or the big dog, but if you get a decent wind angle, then the sniper is fine. Go with a load of left curl and just get the ball to the green safely. Like I said, the Albatross is there, but it is a very aggressive tournament-only rough bump and comes with a lot of risk. If you want to see some of the shots mentioned in this video, you can check the description down below. We're going to put some links there to old tournament playthroughs and shots that illustrate some of the plays available on this course. So remember to have a look at those according to your clubs, balls and play style. You may need to tweak, but they will give you an example of some of the routes and types of shots that are available that will help you out in your games. On to the par 3s then. Now, the rough bump is the best opportunity here. That is where the blue dot is. The problem with that, though, even with the original pin and the new pin here, is that sometimes you will lose the ball guide when you adjust because the tree is in the way. And if you misadjust or don't set up correctly, the risk of hitting the tree is quite large. You may go into the water, you may miss the rough completely and fly the green. So that is a very risky play, and that would be with a tournament only game mode for me and not without any practice tokens. But the main route, CPC, tour play, and mainly in tournaments, especially for lower divisions, is going to be the black line. Middle tee, you're going to play this one with a long iron, of course. With third tee, you're going to be up in wood club territory. Bounce where the red dot is. You will need a bit of curl, unfortunately, unless you want to play with side spin 8, 9 or 10 ball. Free to play though, you will need some left curl. And for rookies, go with the club, the long iron here, that offers you the most curl. You may not have much available, but just get this ball onto green for tour play and CPC. The hole-in-one is there in tournaments if you're going to play right side, and it's also there in tour play. But like I said, the rough bump is very risky. So for me, 10% elevation as a general rule, play the black line. Now this par 3 plays significantly different from the original pin location here, because the bounce up shot really, you can still play it, but you're probably going to be left with a very, very long putt, and it's not going to win you any shootouts or indeed any hole-in-ones for tournament play. So you are forced into the rough bump even from front tee here, which is not ideal, but the good news is there's plenty of rough to aim at, and you don't have to be super accurate in order to get the ball on the green. Obviously, if you're playing tournaments, you need to adjust very carefully and try and get the hole-in-one. In headwind from middle tee, I would recommend you go with a lower power ball and the quarterback, otherwise you may be in between clubs. Sniper and a power 6 ball is fine if you have tailwind. Obviously, third tee is going to be driver, and rookies, you're going to have to make do with what you've got. If you haven't got much ball guide on your club and you don't fancy the rough bump, then the bailout approach there will be just to try and hold the green. You could play with the Guardian in a low level, gives you plenty of backspin. That's from second and third tee. Any long iron with a good amount of backspin and curl would also be good as a fail-safe get to green. 10% elevation though with the rough bump. Bear in mind, if you adjust into the bunker, you will lose distance on your shot. And if you're playing in headwind, you adjust down onto the green. I would go with a few clicks of overpower just to make sure you are going to catch the rough and not fall short and land directly in the bunker. Very, very difficult hole. Practice it if you can. Now the final par 3 is fairly glitchy, and same with the original pin location as well. The main route is the black line. Bounce on the second fairway if you can. 10% elevation. The problem here, regardless of where the pin is on the green, it's very difficult to get the speed right. You can catch glitch rolls as well. I like the sniper from middle tee. That's always a decent club because you get a good amount of ball guide. If you want to go for the rough bump in tournaments, you're bouncing where the white dot is, preferably with the quarterback or something accurate. But again, there are glitch spots there, so choose your spins wisely. For a kind of bailout option in headwind, where the bounce over might not be as kind of accurate, The blue dot there on the final fairway pad, the one immediately before the green, is great if you've got the Thor's Hammer from middle tee and also third tee with a load of backspin. You could also try the Rocket, but you don't have as much distance there. And you're just going to hold with backspin, bounce there on that final piece of fairway, and just hold the green nicely there. It takes out a lot of the glitches there, but there are problems associated with all of these routes, so try and practice if you can. 0% if you're doing the rough bump as a general guide, 10%, maybe 15% if you're doing the bounce over, depending what wind angle you have. If you've enjoyed this video guide, check out the others for the different courses in the game. They will be up on the channel in the same playlist. Lots of stuff to help you approach all the courses that you may face in the game of Golf Clash. And remember, the perks available on Patreon as well. Thank you for watching, and please remember to share this video with your friends and clanmates in the game. Take care. Bye for now.